Well, look, let's get you guys in the coach's box because we've got the Perth Bears coming in 2027.
Sir.
And I'm very excited about this because rugby league hero Mal Meninga has been appointed the job.
Yep.
He's going to be the inaugural coach of the NRL Perth Bears. And so that's got us all thinking, who's going where? What's our lineup? How's this team actually going to go? Are they going to be a Titans or are they going to be a Dolphins? So, boys, what do you guys think? How would you line up the Perth Bears? And what would you get started for the 2027 season?
It's a good question.
Very good question.
We've gotten the luxury of getting all of the players in 2026 that are off contract.
Yes. It's quite a lot.
Yeah,
Like-
there's a lot.
Para has 18. That's a whole squad
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole
off
squad. Yeah.
contract. Like
Yeah, it's wild. So we've done it here by
Para has
position.
18 off
18
squad.
off contract.
Next year,
Wow.
They're rebuilding. They got to, yeah. Ray enjoys it, but he's also like a diehard Para.
No,
fan, so it's
don't
fine.
put that out there. That's
fine.
disgusting.
But
My
anyway,
favorite time of the week is seeing Ray's post about the Parramatta Eels.
because he supports them. Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
No,
100%,
don't,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
tell the internet that. I do not support
Okay,
Para.
no worries. Yeah, see,
No,
you love him.
don't-
Yeah.
Just get,
Well, look,
go on.
about the Bears.
Yeah.
So Meninga's a coach,
Yep.
which I think is a pretty bold move. And they got Ben Gardner, he's the assistant, who's the current Samoa coach. But when you're looking at a team,
Yep.
you want to build a team from scratch.
Yep.
Now we're also not going to do salary cap and all that rubbish. We don't have time for that, mate.
No, we don't have.
We just want to name the best 17, right? So the options at fullback that are off contract 2026. You got Connor Tracy, Ryan Jackson, Jaden Campbell, Tom Trbojevic, Nick Meaney, Tane Tawapiki, Tom Chester, Jordan Samrani. He's more of a winger, centre, and second row. I'm not sure why he's fullback. Jai Gray,
ChatGPT.
Tyrell Sloan. Yeah, that's
ChatGPT.
fine. Yeah, they're all good. Tedesco and Heath Mason.
Yep.
Of these, who would you sign at fullback?
I've got three. I had a little bit of cheating. I went through
That's right.
today
Yep.
because I looked at half the people and I was like, I need to do some homework. So I went through a highlighted few.
Yep.
So I've narrowed that list down to three.
Okay.
So my three that I've got Connor Tracy,
Mhm.
I've got Jaden Campbell and Jai Gray.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Hear me out.
Yep.
Connor Tracy, Bulldogs, love him to death, doing fantastic. I love his work ethic, his carries, he's very solid. Right? Jaden Campbell, we got a young guy here. You can mould him into the team. When he's not injured, he can play very good footy like his dad. And one that's maybe a little bit left field, but I love what he's doing at the Rabbitohs is Jai Gray. Yes, his stature's pretty small, but from what he has been doing, I think when Latrell was out and he jumped in there, he did very well. So that'd be my three options at fullback.
Yeah, look, I don't hate him. I see a list here. You've got the likes of like Jaden Campbell, like we've mentioned, who has been kind of shifted into the 6 and 7 role,
Yep.
which I don't really think he's doing amazing there, to be honest.
I think he's a natural fullback.
Yeah, like his dad.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. You got Tane Tawapiki for the Warriors, who I think is a decent fullback, who's got a lot of potential. He'd be someone I'd be locking in for Perth.
Yep.
Obviously you got Tedesco, but I know he's a bit on the older side. But to kind of bring that experienced campaigning in, I don't hate that. I would go with like
that's the question from out. Does he go experience or does he go growth within the club?
I think it does both. So if I was to pick, I would of the list, I would look at someone like a Connor Tracy,
Yeah.
with like a Tedesco for a year,
Yeah.
kind of just oversee, like guide him, help him
Yeah.
out, or actually more of a Tedesco and a Jai Gray.
Yeah.
You get Tedesco in there for maybe a year to just build that experience, get the combinations right, get it lethal, and then integrate Jai Gray in, and then he can carry out a full career over at fullback. So that's probably where I'd be leaning in terms of fullbacks. You even got like Heath Mason you could do that with as well, young kid from Tigers. You could do that with. That'd probably be my picks of the fullback list that will go to the Bears. Now we've got the wingers. A lot of wingers here on this list. You got Jesse Arthurs. We're going to do ones that we know of that have been playing first grade. So we've got Jesse Arthurs, we've got Marcelo Montoya, Inari Tawala, Sione Katoa, Jesse Ramian, Herbie, Farnworth, Max Fiingai, Jermaine Asako, Khan Pereira, Phil Sammy, Garrick, Coates, Warbrick, Marzu. List goes on and on. There's Ado Carr, there's Matt Fiigay, there's Michele Ravalawa, Daniel Tupou, and Christian Tuipulotu, and Mark Nwangatinawase.
Yeah.
Now, of this list, again, we're doing it by positions. So this would be for the 2 and 5, so both wing spots. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Sione Katoa, who I think would be instrumental on that wing down there at the from the Sharks over to Perth.
Yep.
Get a bit of grunt in there. A Greg Marju would be unstoppable. I think he'd go really, really well down there as well. Tuipulotu would be a hit. Nawanga Tinawase could be something, to make like solidify a position of his own. Tupo's a bit on the older side, so I'd probably pass on him. Warbrick is another good option. You could go down that road, even Asako.
Yeah.
If I had to pick two, honestly, off the bat, I'd probably go a Greg Marju. And I would even look at like an Asako.
Okay.
That'd probably be my two wingers that I'd bring to the Bears.
I had Asako on my list, and I had quite a few.
Yeah.
I think I like Herbie Farnworth, what he's been doing. Asako, I've got him. Ruben Garrick, yes, he's a bit on and off. But I reckon I would probably go Mark Nawaka-Nikawaze, and probably either Farnworth or Jesse Arthurs. I like what Arthurs is doing at the Broncos.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I'd like to see Farnworth in the centers. I like kind of moving in the center position, so I think he'd be wasted on the wing. But no, I don't hate those options either, to be honest. I think Garrick on the wing isn't also a bad shout either, so that could also work. To the centers, so you got Savina Tamale, who I think he'll re-sign with Canberra, Kale Iro, who I'm a massive fan of, Jake Averillo, Brian Kelly, Rocco Berry, RTS, Dane Gagai, Jackson Purdue, who they're trying to infiltrate to be more of like a 6, but he can still play center really well, as we've seen this year. Richard and Will Penasini. I think Penasini may have re-signed, actually. Joel Skelton, Stafford Toa.
Yeah.
Off a list like this, I would look at Farnworth to go over to the Bears. I'd look at Kyle Oro, was doing at the Sharks. Incredible. I'd look at Stafford Toa. I think he's been playing really good football for the Tigers this year. Probably of the three, these are the two. Of those three, obviously Farnworth and Iro I'd go, but I wouldn't mind the backup in Toa there as well.
Yeah, I've got Kale Iro and probably RTS.
Yeah, even RTS, not a bad shout. Even Brian Kelly is a pretty underrated shout there as well. Don't hate that list either. We'll go to the halves.
I got one name here.
Metcalf.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. You got Metcalf. You also got Josh Rogers from the Broncos. Trey Fuller from the Dolphins, who could also play a bit of fullback. Carter Gordon, who's a rugby union convert.
Okay.
He's at Gold Coast Signs at the moment. Tyson Gamble, what a waste of my time. Ronnie Volkman, don't think he's the answer. Jack Cole would be someone I'd also consider. Probably more of like a depth signing for the Bears. But yeah, Metcalf, you'd be going guns blazing for. I'd go Metcalf every day of the week. Yeah, you're about the same, right?
Yep. Yeah. Only one name highlight there, Luke Metcalf.
Perfect. And then we go to halfback. So we've got Cody Black, Jock Madden, Adam Reynolds, Bailey Hayward, Cody Nikorima, Jerome Hughes, Shino Harris-Tavera, Tanner Boyd, Jack Cogger, Dean Hawkins, Jamie Humphries, Lachlan Ilias, Sandon Smith, and Tyron Wishart.
Yep.
Who do you think he has 7?
Off the bat, I'm going Jerome Hughes.
Yep.
Love what he's doing at Melbourne. Absolute legend of the game. My other two options I had highlighted there was Tyron Wishart.
Yep. Good shout.
His that impact. I think he comes off the bench, doesn't he?
Yeah, for Melbourne.
When he comes off the bench, he's just fantastic. I did put Bailey Hayward in there. I like what he's doing at the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Just I don't know in that halfback position though.
Okay.
But I did have him as an option. But number one for me would be Jerome Hughes, and then I'd have Wishart as number 2.
Yeah, look, I don't hate that shout. I'd be the same. I'd be looking at Jerome Hughes. I'd try to go all out for Jerome Hughes and try to get him into the squad for a couple of years, and then he can mentor like a Jamie Humphries, for example, even a Sandon Smith, Tyron Wishart, like you mentioned as well. But yeah, I'd be going guns blazing for Jerome Hughes, 100%.
100%.
And I'd look at Bailey Howard maybe like at a 6 or even a 13, where they're kind of got him playing there at the moment. But yeah, not a bad shout at all. But I would love something like a Jamie Humphries, forge out a big career.
Okay.
At 7, if he wasn't to pan out at the Rabbitohs. Now over to props. There's a fair few on this list. First one on this list, Payne Haas.
Yep.
That's a no-brainer.
First one I highlighted.
We didn't even need to discuss why.
No.
We go down the list. Pasami Solo from the Raiders. You got Sam Hughes. You've got Braden Hamlin-Ueli.
Yep.
Oren Keeley from the Dolphins, who's been playing some good football. Jamin Jolliffe could be an option. Tui Kamikamika. Caden Lars, who's Tom Leroy Lars' son, which is a bit of a throwback. He's only played one game, though.
Name in ages.
Yeah. It's his son that's playing. Shows us how old we are. You've got like Matt Eisenuth, who's a bit of a senior head. Sean Kepi, Liam LeBlanc. And then you've got like Blake Laurie, Omri Gula, Jaime Sele options as well. Off the bat, look at this. Payne Haas, you'd go absolute guns blazing for
Yep.
at prop. A Pasami Solo, I don't mind. An Adam Mariota, I don't mind from Canberra either. Maybe a Jamin Jolliffe I'd look at as well. Or a Griffin Neem. I think Griffin Neem sticks out for me of this list as well. Who would you put on your list for?
Payne Haas,
Bears?
definitely.
Yeah.
I like Harry Hayes.
Yeah.
What he's doing at the Bulldogs, solid guy.
Yeah.
So I've got him, or even Lindsay Smith from Panthers.
Okay, yeah. I missed that. That's
Saw
a good
him
shout.
down on the list. So
That's a great shout. I missed that. Yeah, I'd probably
couple guys there, but Payne Haas 100%.
Yeah.
I'd probably do Payne Haas, maybe Lindsay Smith.
Yeah, that's a great forward combination. Yeah, I like that. Lindsay Smith. I can't believe I missed that name there. Hooker,
The number 9.
number 9. So there's a lot of positions here, a lot of players here. Sorry, that cover this position as well that are off contract. You got Coruscant, who's obviously been linked already to the Bears. Talon De Silva, Damien Cook. You've got Carl Lawton. You got Freddie Lussick, Reid Marnie, Blake Brayley, Cameron McInnes, who's a lock but can play hooker. Off the list, if I'm looking at this off the bat and what I want to see, I'd look at a Talon De Silva with like a Coruscant as a senior head in that side. Like a Coruscant can go there for a year and a bit, and then mentor someone like a Talon De Silva. I don't hate a Blake Brayley, who's been phenomenal for Cronulla.
Blake Brayley as one of them.
I don't hate that either, but I'd like a younger kid in there, like maybe even a Jake Simpkin from Manly can go in there and shake it up a bit. But a Talon De Silva, he can be there for 10 years.
Yeah,
as a starting 9. I think he's a really good player up on the rise. That's who I'd put in there.
You've
obviously got
in this hooker.
We've also got Harry Grant in there as well, which I completely skipped over. But yeah, who do you thinking? Who you thinking?
I'm thinking. I got 3. I like Billy Walters, Blake Brayley, or Harry Grant would be my top.
I don't think you can go wrong with that.
Damien Cook, hate to say it, I think his time's come.
Yeah, he's a bit on the older side.
He's getting a bit older. Coruscant, I haven't seen much of him. I don't watch many Tigers games, so I can't really comment. But I feel like he could be pretty good. But yeah, my go-to would be either Walters, Brayley, or Grant.
Yeah, no, beautiful.
Number 9 position there. So
yeah, no, for sure. Second row, a lot of talent.
Quite a lot of names.
Yeah, a lot of talent on this list. That could even play a bit of prop. The names that stick out to me automatically, Zach Hosking, Josh Cohen, Viliame Kikau.
Yep.
Off the bat, they
Top
stick
3,
out to me. Yeah,
highlighted.
There you go.
Right there.
I think Viliame Kikau going as a senior head, like, because you look at the Dolphins and what they did, they brought in a lot of older heads.
Yeah.
Like Mark Nichols, Felice Kafusi, the Bromwich boys. You need some senior heads in that team for that experience to guide the younger kids to come through. I think Viliame Kikau would be a perfect.
I'd hate to see him leave the Dogs, but
I'd hate it too.
In terms of leadership, though, like you said, getting that senior head, he'd be great.
He's automatic for me. I would think he'd do some amazing stuff there. A Bo Firma would be incredible.
Yes,
he'd be incredible. So I would love for him to be a mainstay at a club like the Bears.
Yep.
A senior head, another senior head. I'd sign Kurt Capewell.
Yep.
I think he's really underrated. Scott Sorensen, another senior head. You could move like even a Keon Matangi to be that prop. Angus Crichton, I'd be going all guns blazing for as well.
100%.
I'd build the CY Wong even in a lock as well.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of options. You got here Corneli Lemuelu from the Dolphins as well.
He's been playing some good football.
Great football off the bench, really making impact at the Dolphins there. I don't hate any of those players that join that Bears side, to be honest.
No.
Anyone else stick out to you that I haven't really mentioned?
Pretty much all the names you put on there.
Yeah.
Everyone you said. I had no other different ones than what we said.
I think a change of scenery would be good for someone like David Fafita.
I did have David Fafita on there as as kind of a last minute kind of option.
Look, I think on his day he's so dangerous and he's someone that you want in your side. But if you get him in the right mind frame, in the right headspace, under good coaching, I think he could really thrive and I think he'd be a massive asset there. So that's what I got there. And then at lock to kind of round it off, you've got Nathan Brown, personal favourite of mine. You got Jake Chaboyevich, Harrison Edwards, Sam McIntyre, Kai O'Donnell, Ryan Madison, Kurt Mann, Dylan Walker, Jack Bird.
I'm going Kurt Mann or Dylan Walker.
Yeah. Don't hate that, yeah.
Very versatile.
Yep.
Can play a few different positions. Yeah, they're my 2 that I would be going for.
Yeah, no,
Nathan Brown, yes. I think though maybe a little bit on the older side.
Yep.
He might be good for a season or 2, but yeah, I mean, even Kurt Mann, I know what was he, the oldest Origin player?
For
game
32
2 or
years old.
something?
Yeah, 32 years old.
But yeah, I think Nathan Brown, Kurt Mann, or Dylan Walker would be my. would be
Yeah,
my
I love
options.
those. Yeah, I think you're on the right track there with that. I don't think Jack Bird would offer much, if I'm honest with you.
No.
Dylan Walker, he's an unbelievable talent, especially his move, like when he was at the Warriors and he was playing that ball, playing lock position and being that util.
Yep.
I think he's become a necessity. I think he's done so well for Parramatta since he's come in as well. So I think he'd be an absolute hit over at the Bears. Nathan Backfence Brown, I would absolutely get him into my side at lock. I'd love some of him to come and just really round up that forward pack. But there's another name that is kind of off contract every year as part of his contract, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui.
Yeah.
Getting someone like him into the side would just him and Payne Haas in the same team is just
that would be mental.
yeah. But look, that's kind of the team that we'd build on an unlimited salary cap.
Yep.
Kind of like a dream
I'd
team.
hate to know the salary cap on that team that we just
Yeah,
built.
100%. I think it's already exceeded by 40 million. So we've definitely exceeded on that one. But yeah, I think the boys are at the desk. I think that's what we'd be looking at doing for the Bears.
It's going to be interesting, man. It's always exciting to have another NRL team in the game and something over at Perth, which is AFL territory.
Yeah.
Mate, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Did Perth ever be in the NRL? Have they ever?
Yeah, they're back in the day.
Okay.
Back in the day. But now we're trying to go back and take over.
Well, apparently they're not happy about it.
Yeah, they're
Perth
blowing
isn't
up the
happy.
lights.
Yeah, Perth is not happy, mate.
Blowing up the
Really?
lights because the guy that was in charge of Channel 7 now is over like the Seven West Media is now the CEO. I believe it's the CEO or the chairman of the Bears now.
Right.
And so there's a lot of dramas from Perth.
Well,
They're not really
apparently
happy about it.
Apparently he didn't even show up to game 2 of Origin.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
yeah. Like they got the whole media side on like in Perth. Don't report on the NRL coming to Perth. They don't want to borrow it. Yeah, they don't report it. There's big dramas there.
The one thing
Hopefully
I was
goes
thinking
well.
about the other day, imagine back-to-back away games, Perth to New Zealand.
Yeah, no, that's
That's-
shocking.
Oh,
That's
shocking.
8 hours
Yeah, that's
difference
shocking.
from Perth to Auckland.
Yeah.
Like, that would be disgusting.
Yeah, well, some of the players, like in the last week's game, Penrith vs Warriors, some of the players went from Origin,
Yeah, in
And-
Perth.
and flew over, but none of them were named.
Yeah.
Because they knew that the travel was just impossible.
Yeah.
Like it's physically not right for the players and for their well-being to do that. But shocking stuff because Penrith dropped all of their Origin players, even before the game even took place. And the Warriors didn't name Capel on that side either. So they've already experienced that, and it was shocking as it was. So they weren't going to go down that road.
Yeah, that'd be a hard one. On the road, Perth to
New Zealand,
Auckland.
yeah, it's disgusting. The scheduling's got to be better.